Happiness through curiosity on the Ranveer Show. What happened after Y Combinator in your life?
Sure. The first thing that happened was TechCrunch. We raised our seed round and we got TechCrunch. So I think as a founder, entrepreneur, I think TechCrunch now is very different than what it was in 2012. It was at its peak. So getting TechCrunch was a thing.
What is getting TechCrunch?
Like getting covered in TechCrunch. Like you get a dedicated article in TechCrunch that will raise money and, Plivo launches in 50 countries, blah, blah, right? So as a first-time founder, I keep calling myself first-time founder because Plivo's, at this scale, it's my first venture, right? So when we got TechCrunch the first time, we partied the whole night. That's a very different moment, right? Like we didn't know what to do. It was that exciting. It was more exciting than raising money.
What does it mean being featured in TechCrunch? You get noticed.
You get a lot of customer leads. You become legitimate. So imagine like two immigrant founders in the country going through YC, raise money, and then TechCrunch featured you. And then suddenly next day morning you wake up, so I'm taking sales calls. Next day phones constantly keep ringing.
It's like being on Tech Joe Rogan.
Yeah, more than that. Actually, TechCrunch back in the day had like much more reach than Joe Rogan.
Really?
Yeah. TechCrunch was like the thing for startups, right? 2012, 2013. So yeah, I mean, getting TechCrunch was a verb. I think the sentiment is now going down. It's not the same anymore, like 10 years later or 11 years later. So yeah, that was like super exciting. Like I said, we partied the whole night, me and Mike. We didn't know what to do, right? We were like, okay, we have to get to work tomorrow. But it was like crazy that day. And like I said, it was a dream moment, right? One of the moments I remember, like highs of all of that. And then next day reality kicked in. The good thing was for the next 4, 5, 6 months, we got a lot of incoming leads because of the article, right? And then reality kicked in. Tons of issues on the platform, customers complaining, support tickets, bugs. And that's when you realize, look, all that, whatever happened is not the business. No, not the business. Like the business is something else. Those are just, sort of brushes in a different, or colors in a different brush tone. But the primary lane is what you need to focus on. Don't get distracted. Because that's when reality kicked in and like customers would yell at us and tell us like something's not working or something's gone wrong or what have you. They don't care. Are you tech crunched or have you raised so much money? None of that matters.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, at least in my life, I've noticed that the biggest dreams that you dreamt about when you were in college or right out of college happen during the busiest phases of your life. And you're too busy to truly enjoy that dream completely. At least I've noticed this in my own journey. Like something huge happens and I'm so busy that I can't even pay attention to it. Yeah. And then a week or 2 weeks later, I'm just sitting with one of my co-founders and then we talk. We're like, oh, that happened.
No, that's a good thought. For us, it was definitely that moment, right, where we couldn't take a week off to enjoy. And also, I think, like I said, it was a grounding moment that like, in hindsight, all this, I can say all of this, like, is that something we should have even aspired to, like getting TechCrunch? Because the reality is business is on a different lane. But, as first-time founders, you do have some of these aspirations, like raising your first $1 million, getting your first customer, getting your first $1 million in revenue. Getting TechCrunch was one of them back in the day. I'm assuming now it's influencers, right? Like being covered in an influencer channel and so on and so forth. I think there are different...
I don't know because I'm in the...
Sure. Yeah, I think some of that is what I feel like what people think. But that's learning. So that happened.
Would you say your phase post TechCrunch and YC has been kind of just the run of the mill, running a business, facing problems, gradually scaling?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't call it run of the mill. It's like a sine wave, higher highs and lower lows, right? So the sine wave just keeps sort of exponentially growing.
Higher highs and lower lows.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, right. Like it just keeps exponentially growing. So if it started out like that and it just
This is what the Shark Tank watching audience doesn't understand about the truth of running businesses. The higher highs and lower lows.
Lower lows, yeah.
As amazing as Shark Tank has been for business education in our country and all over the world, no one covers this aspect of scaling businesses.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, and I think, yeah, one thing I want to say is like, I think as a leader and a founder in a company, over time, like when you have more and more employees, today we have 300, you sort of feel a sense of responsibility, right? Where sometimes like it even keeps me awake at night thinking about, there are a lot of things that are not in our control. Market changes, customers may not like the product tomorrow. There could be an outage and a downtime in the product where nothing works. If any of that happens, there are still 300 people who've decided to be with us and sort of bet their careers on Plivo. So it's my responsibility to make sure that we don't let them down. And in the last 13 years, we've obviously parted ways with a lot of folks for various different reasons, but it's never been for like our mistakes of burning money, not having money, all of that, right? Like we've never fired anybody for market recession or any of that. Never. Zero. Right? So that's something I feel over time the responsibility continues to increase because the number of employees keep increasing.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip from the Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.